Chapter 13 Life of the Early Man. Learning objectives. To learn the early life of a man, to understand how early man lived when they ate, and more. Warm up. Let us go back to the period of early man. Let us imagine how an early man might have lived many years ago. Discuss in your classroom what would be a diet of early man. What do you think he likes to eat? Does he like fruits, flowers, bark, insect or meat? Join the dots to complete the picture and recognize the figure afterwards. Color it to make it beautiful. Teachers note, encouraging children to be curious and imagine. Help them to complete the dots and color the figure. Explain the lifestyle of an early man. Ask them questions related to it. Introduction. Early man and food. Until agriculture was developed around 10,000 years ago, early men got their food by hunting, gathering and fishing. The earliest men began farming and had learned to domesticate animals for household chores and other tasks. Did you know the dogs were the first animal domesticated? They were used to guard belongings. Later, bullocks and horses were used for farming, while cows, buffaloes and goats were used for households as they gave milk. Early man also ate the meat of these animals, and animal skin was used for clothing. Horses, bullocks, donkeys and camels were used to carry weight while traveling from one place to another. The early man lived in forests just like other animals. Some of the animals were stronger than him. He was afraid of them as he did not have any weapons to protect himself. For these animals, the life of early man was very difficult. The food of early man was different from what we eat today. We had to roam from one place to another in search of food. He only ate when he could get in the jungle. He ate the fruits or roots of the plant. Sometimes he hunted animals and ate their raw flesh. It was not easy for the early man to get his food with his hands only. Taking out roots of the plant with his hand was very difficult for him. So the early man started using stones to do this work. He even started hunting animals with stones. Let me answer. Which animals were used for farming during early man's times? Later he learned to shape the stones by breaking and sharpening them. The shaped stones became stone tools for getting his food. Slowly early man learned to improve his tools. He looked for the stone which could be cut easily. He learned how to cut them and to make them handy and more sharpener. Fact finder. Have you ever noticed how pet animals are helpful to us? Name any animal that is used for farming. As time passed, he learned to tie a sharp stone to a wooden stick. Thus he made a spear. Now he could kill an animal from a distance. Early man used leaves and barks of trees to cover his body. He also learned to dry the skin of animals. He killed and used them clothes. He lived inside caves to protect himself from the cold. He saw fires breaking out in the jungle. He was afraid of it. He found that even animals were afraid of it. He did not know that he could cook his food using fire. It took him a long time to learn about the uses of fire. He discovered that fire could be made by rubbing two stones or two bamboo sticks together. Do you know that early humans moved from place to place in search of food and water? Now, he learned to illuminate the caves. He used fire, the warmth and water. He also learned that a burning log could be carried from one place to another. So, he used fire to protect himself from animals. As the passage of time, he learned to cook food. He came to know that cooked food was soft and tastier. So, he started roasting meat and roots. He used to eat fruits, food grains and roots that grew on their food around him. He used to throw away the seeds after eating the fruits. He noticed that the root and seeds grow into new plants. After a period of time, the early men began to collect seeds and spread them on soft stretches of land. Many of them grew into plants. It was the beginning of farming. Let me answer. The discovery of dash and pottery transformed the life of early man. Slowly he started digging the earth with the stone tools to sow the seeds. It began the tilling of the land. Later on he started using wooden plows. Research and analysis. With the help of the internet, find out the answers to given question and discuss them in your class. 1. The different period of prehistory. 2. The arrival of people in India. 3. The similarities and differences between the prehistoric man and early man. The early man had learned to domesticate animals even before he began farming. The dog was perhaps the first animal to be domesticated. They were useful in hunting as well as in guarding their belongings. Bullocks and horses were used for farming. Cows, buffaloes, and goats gave milk. He also ate the meat for these animals. Their skin was used for clothing. Sheep were rode for the wool. He used horses, bullocks, donkeys, and camels to carry his loads. The early men started farming with the help of animals. He produced more food grains and started sorting them. So he lived in houses built near the farm. Thus small villages came into existence. Here people were better protected and children were well looked after as a result. People enjoyed long life and the population increased. Many other changes come in the life of man due to farming and keeping animals. Now he did not have to move from one place to another in search of food. He also started to construct huts with stones and covered them with the leaves and branches of trees. Health and wellness. According to scientific research, early men had very strong teeth. These ancient humans were able to develop strength by consuming a more natural diet based on hunting and gathering. Do you also think that you must take care of yourself? List a few ways to add your daily routine to be healthy. Many such houses made near each other formed habitation. Most of them were near rivers. Families living in these habitations could easily get water for drinking and irrigation from the river. They could also find fish in the river which was used as food. When a stable society emerged, man started farming on large scale. The population also increased, so many people could not live under one roof and could not work on the same farm. So they started living in separate houses and working on separate farms. The house and farm became his personal and private property. However, the village had to remain united, so some rules were framed. Then supervision became necessary. As the thinking skill of early man increased, he started to produce goods, so the exchange of things or trade started. At this stage, the need for the means of travel and the means of carrying goods to distant people became strong. The early man must have observed that wood floats on water. He used to cross the river on logs of wood. He soon found the hollow trunks of trees floated easily. It gave him the idea of tying together these trunks to travel by water. It is how the first boat was invented. They were used to transport heavy loads across river. Indian Heritage Connect. The early humans expressed themselves by drawing, sculpting and painting on the walls, rocks and stones. Have you seen painted walls at any place near your surroundings or anywhere in your country? Does ancient art provide us clues about on past? Discuss in the classroom. Later rafts were made by tying logs of wood together. However, traveling or transporting heavy loads on land was still difficult and slow. It was difficult for them to carry heavy loads on their backs. They made a cart which they do not have wheels called a sledge. The early man pushed and pulled the sledge himself. Later on, he learned to use animals to do this. However, it was difficult to move the sledge on uneven ground. The early man later saw a round log rolling down a hill. He realized that round things could move much easily on land. So he fitted small piece of tree trunks on his cart. Now he could move the cart easily on uneven ground. These were the first wheels. Now traveling on land became easier and faster. Early man also invented the potter's wheel for making pots with clay. It is in use even today. The invention of the wheel is considered to be a landmark in the history of mankind. The early man discovered that some of these stones could be melted to metal. Iron and copper were probably the first metals to be made. He made sharp and strong tools for clearing jungles and used the land for farming. The discovery of metals was another big leap towards progress. The early man continued to make progress and made his life comfortable. He developed the new means of transport like bicycle, tonga, scooter, bus, car, train, ship, aeroplane, etc. Summary. Early man's unique discovery was that metal could be extracted from certain types of stones. Most of the time, early men lived in caves but frequently traveled from one place to another, and they lived with animals in the forest for years and years. The early men used to roam for food and merely used to eat fruits, plants, roots, and animals' raw flesh. Early people created many easy-to-carry tools to hunt the animals, which were made of wood and stones and shaped like swords. The history of early man was transformed when he invented pottery, clay, the wheel, and the stone tools. These inventions helped early men to make his spices life easy, hunt frequently, and travel long distances. Art integration. Early humans made a relatively wide variety of stone tools. Their toolkits included choppers, clevers, hammers, and flakes used as knives and scrapers. Use clay to make the tools of early men. You can make any of the tools mentioned above. Click a picture and paste it into the box below. Do not forget to mention the name of the tool below the image. Exercises. Creative expression. Tell your story. Have you ever cooked or eaten with your family or friends under the open sky? How was your experience? Conduct a group discussion with your friends about it. Discuss any experience of an outdoor picnic with your friends. Cross-curricular connect. Critical thinking. Let's play a game. Suppose you are living in early man's time. You have to collect food, create a hut, and take care of animals. What kind of preparation will you do for the same? Explain the process in the classroom by making two groups. Group A will define the tools, equipment required, and Group B will define the steps to complete the task. Logical decision making. Early humans could express thought and feelings through speech, signs, or gestures. Discuss in class how we communicate with each other. Discuss 5 types of verbal sentence with signals like blowing, smoking, rinsing clothes, through which we can share for short and long distance communication. Let's practice. A. Write short answers to the given questions. 1. Name any 5 tools that early men created. 2. Name any 5 animals used for farming and domestication. 3. What type of tools did early men create and why? B. Write long answers to the given questions. 1. Describe in your words why farming was necessary for early men. 2. How did early humans used to travel from one place to another? 3. How were early humans used to protect themselves against animals in the forest? C. Fill in the blanks with correct word. 1. He also started to construct dash with stones and covered them with dash and the branches of dash. 2. Early humans learned to tie a sharp stone to a dash. 3. Early men also invented the dash for making pots with clay. D. Take the correct option. 1. Early humans' toolkit included dash, 1 chopper, 2 axe, 3 pliers. 2. The dash of animals was used as clothes to protect from the cold. 1 skin, 2 dry skin, 3 both A and B. E. Match the following. Column A, column B. Leaves, wood, fire. F. State whether the following statements are true or false. 1. Early men lived in caves. Early men hunted food but never produced it. 3. River and farming were never done by early men. Conceptual understanding. The early Stone Age began with the most basic stone implements made by early humans. These old worn tool kits include hammer stones, stone cores, and sharp stone flakes. Find a chart of an early man, cut and paste the best 5 tools that you think were necessary for him to survive. Communication. Writing skills. Imagine you are camping with your family. Write a short paragraph setting step-by-step guide on how you will do all the preparation, including setting up your camp. You can discuss it with your friends. Reading skills. Read the paragraph carefully and discuss the process of making a boat in the classroom. The early men must have observed wood floats on water. That is why he used wood logs to cross rivers. He must have also discovered that the trunks of trees can be shaped and are easy to carry. That is why he used these trunks to travel by water. This process enabled him to invent boats to transport heavy loads across rivers.